Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today on the show, we are going to have a lot of fun. We're going to get into something that I honestly have struggled to describe because it seems like it does so much. Before I start the show, I'm going to do a quick shout out to our captioning and our sponsors. We have Diane here from White Coat Captioning, taking down every single word we say and putting it into the live captions. You can see the stream URL at the bottom there if you want those assistive captions. And that is provided by the support of our sponsors. We've got NX and Netlify, both kicking in to make the show more accessible to more people, which I very, very much appreciate. And here today to guide us on our little adventure into serverless is Steve Kraus. Steve, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I am super pumped to have you here. I always love it when a product does so much that I struggle to describe it. And I'm looking forward to digging into this. So before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit about you. For folks who aren't familiar with you and your work, do you want to give us a bit of a background on yourself?
Sure. I have been into programming languages, developer tools, frameworks, and programming education for my whole career. I guess some people might know me from the Future of Coding podcast that I started a couple of years ago that is currently run by some other folks. Before the Future of Coding podcast, I ran an after-school program here in New York City, teaching kids to code, did a lot of Scratch programming, and I made tools for kids to learn to code. And what I found out when working with kids and building learnable programming environments for kids is that kids don't want learnable programming environments for kids. They want to do what adults do. They just want adult tools to be learnable by them. And that's kind of what put me on the path to starting my current company.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, usually what I like to do is I like to start by going over the kind of the problem space that a product is solving. And when I read what your company can do, I struggled to come up with the specific, and I was worried that I was going to put it in too small a box. So let's talk a little bit about kind of what problem are you solving? Like when you set out to build this, were you saying to yourself, I'm going to build everything, or did you have kind of a set goal in mind?
When we set out, this idea, it's a weird one. It keeps kind of growing in scope. In the beginning, I wanted to build a place where you could run server-side code from the browser with no setup. You could just pop open a new tab, write some code, hit run, and it runs. It's in a deployed format. You can host a website from it. You can accept webhooks. You can run it on a cron. Like all the things you would want from a server kind of a platform, but you didn't need to use the terminal. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to deploy anything. I wanted a fun, delightful, fast, browser-focused server-side development environment. And there have been a lot of these over the years. Glitch is one, Replit is another. It's kind of like Code Sandbox or CodePen, but for the back end. That's like another way to think about it. So RunKit, if some of you may have heard about. So that was the original idea, like small snippets of server-side code in the browser.
Gotcha. Okay, and so it now feels like you've expanded a little bit. Well, I guess let's talk. I mean, we haven't even said the name yet. So this was your idea, was server-side snippets in the browser. What did it become?
Yeah. So the company is called Valtown, and it's still a lot of server-side. It's still really a server-side snippets in the browser, but the platform has grown into being able to handle most of the things you want to do in a full stack backend platform. So in some ways, you could think about us like Supabase or Firebase or Heroku. Like we're kind of like a place you go to build your whole app. With an emphasis on lightweight, fast, and fun. Like, you're not going to build a company on this, but it's a really fun place to build a hackathon project, a side project for yourself, your personal website, little crons for yourself and your family. Over time, we want to handle more serious workflows, but we're starting with light, simple, fun, friendly ones.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So I guess this is all really. I'm glad you're here because you can answer a question that I've had. When I talk about something like Glitch, in the past, what I've always found is that I think it's super fun, but I haven't been able to find like it. I haven't been able to fit it into my workflow, and
Yeah.
I don't know why. So, what with Valtown sort of being comparable in that it's you're not going to deploy a full app on it, right? So it's sort of to well, I guess what do you do on it? Like, what's the use case that you think really makes this like this is how it fits into your workflow and really levels you up as a dev?
Yeah. So today, Valtown is most used, or there are like 2 or 3 categories that are most popular for Valtown. One category that's very popular is what I call Zapier for developers. If you have like a small thing you want to automate, you have 2 or 3 different SaaS apps or data stores or APIs that you want to get data from one to another. If you have a poll job, so I poll RSS feeds, I poll APIs, I poll for the weather. I have all sorts of poll jobs running. And then if they find something, they'll send a notification to my team's Discord, or they'll tweet for me, or they'll send me an email. We have like kind of all these hooks that make that really delightful in the same way that Zapier does, but you don't have to like point and click. Like Zapier, they charge you if you're going to write what in code would be 3 lines of code. They call it like a 3-step zap. But in Valtown, it's you just hit the enter key because it's Zapier like is approximating a programming language for people who don't know how to code, and they also have all these great hooks, and it's like instantly deployed. Valtown has some of these great hooks instantly deployed, but it's for programmers. So you have everything you want at your fingertips, not at your mouse pointer.
Got it. Okay, that's very cool. And so it's I like this because to me that is the there's this point of pain that I've always felt as a dev where there's something I need to do that feels too small to stand up a server for. But I definitely don't want to try to like cram it into another code base or something because then I can't remember where code is. So I end up with these like I don't even know what to call it, like glue code sort of pieces where I have a little bit of functionality that's really important, but I don't know where it belongs. And that has historically led to me having some deployed repo somewhere that I could literally just call junk drawer. It's like every little task that I need to run, like you mentioned, like if I'm polling, if I'm handling webhooks, if I'm doing, little teeny things that need to get done all the time. And I just don't know where they live. And I think like companies keep trying this where, you'll have a serverless functions offering, or you can stand something up on like AWS Lambda or whatever. But if I ever deploy anything to AWS, I almost immediately forget that it exists. It kind of disappears into their config pages. And so if I do this on something like Valtown, what you're saying is that I would be able to sort of, no, I said junk drawer because that's what I feel in my heart, but that feels derogatory. But if I go to Valtown and I treat it as my like glue code home, I'd be able to just see a list of all my pieces of glue code and have them organized a little better than they would be if I'm just like tossing randomly named files into a repo.
Totally. Yeah, that's a pattern we've seen where we kind of slurp up things that are currently on like a random Heroku instance or like a random DigitalOcean droplet. We like slurp up those sorts of scripts that people already have, and now they just locate them on Valtown, which is like a great place to host them, and it's also social, so you can make your scripts public, and other people can fork them on them, send you a pull request. You can use other people's code. So we have those GitHub style social elements.
Yeah, and that's very Zapier too, where you can kind of find somebody else put a workflow together and you can go use it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice. That's very nice. All right. Well, the chat's excited. I'm excited. How does this run? Like, how is it? You mentioned serverless. It is serverless, right? I didn't misname this.
Yeah, serverless is a funny word. Like, what does serverless mean? I have a friend
Fair.
who likes to call it. I can't believe it's not server, because like really at the end of the day, serverless is just it's like definitely there are servers. Like that is what it is. But I think the mindset of serverless is like you don't have to think about servers, and so
Right.
Valtime definitely fits into that. We don't want you don't think about how many servers we have, like scaling up, scaling down. You just write code and it runs and scales up and down. You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about servers. So yes, it is
Right.
serverless in that sense.
Well, and unlike I can't believe it's not servers, this does not have any partially hydrogenated server oil.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, you're welcome to leave if you want.
No, that's great.
I know there's a line, and I've crossed it. All right, so let's do this. I could probably ask you a million questions about this, but I'm going to instead just ask you to show me how it works. So let me take us over into our pair programming mode, which is this one here. And we're going to jump in on this view, and I'm going to throw up this banner here. All right. So first and foremost, we are talking to Steve today. So make sure you go give him a follow. And we are talking about Valtown. So make sure you go and check that out as well. Oh, and I'm sorry, Vinny. I apologize. Stick around. It's going to be worth it. All right. So if I want to get started, I want to try something out and learn here. What should my first step be?
Log in, sign up / log in with GitHub.
Okay. All right. I'm in.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. This is your first val.
All right. And so we're looking at importing from NPM. Okay. So this is Dino, right?
Yes. Good eye.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm writing Dino code, but I can still use NPM because we learned that was important. And let's see. Yeah, we've got some React coming in. So we're doing full blown. This is cool. Okay, this is cool. So we've got like a little tiny server going right now.
Yeah, this is a little server that serves some HTML rendered in React.
Oh, I didn't even see that this was down here.
Yeah, and it's live and deployed, fully hosted. Yeah. So why don't change something and then hit Command Enter.
Okay, so I can send this link here to anybody. So if I open this in another, oh, cool. All right, so then we can say something like this. What did I just do?
I think
the
it's trying to,
it's helping.
Yeah, the Copilot. But yeah, if you hit preview, it should, give you the new version.
And there it is.
Ah.
Very cool. So I like this. This has got, it's reminiscent of something like CodePen, but we're running server-side code. So the fact that we've got a Dino environment, we're sending an actual response, like that's pretty slick. Okay, I love that. The instant deploy is cool. All right, so I'm gonna hit done. And now.
So this is your like home space. There's some tips at the bottom. You can make a bunch of different kinds of vals. I can go over what each type does, and then
that's probably a good idea. Let's step through the high level of like what we can do on here, and then we'll go into something practical.
Yeah, great. So if maybe zoom in on this tip section because it lists the 4 kinds of vals that you can make. So script vals just run like scripts. They don't do anything that interesting. HTTP vals, that's the kind we already made.
So a script would be like if I wanted to write myself a utility function or something. But actually, that's a good question because if it's not HTTP, how would I access it? Is it just kind of manually I can run any script I want?
Yeah, scripts are good for playing around, testing out a library, or like making like a script could also be thought of as a file. Like maybe it doesn't do anything, but it defines functions that you import in other vals, because vals very easily import from each other.
Oh,
So
okay,
that's
okay.
another like kind of Valtown is like a onion in that you like keep getting deeper and deeper. So one way to think about it is each val is like a GIS, but it runs. Another way to think about Valtown is it's like a GIS, but each thing is instantly a module that's importable. So it's like NPM as well. Uh, so anyways, a script is the most boring one, but we'll get back to that if we need to. HTTP vals, that's one we already did. That's where we have a website.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also like accept webhooks or accept JSON, return JSON. That's pretty straightforward. Scheduled vals are crons, so they run on a timer or they run every morning, whatever you want. And then email vals are actually pretty fun. You can send an email to a val, and it will trigger that val with the body of the email. So you can.
Fascinating.
Yeah, like I feel like if you kind of install that in your brain, that wait, I could trigger code by sending an email. All of a sudden, you're going to see all these use cases in your life. Like, wait a second, like I can just forward this email to code and then trigger some stuff.
And I have a million workflows for myself where I like email myself something because that's the only place I consistently check.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can see a lot of ways that that this type of functionality can. We'll see. This feels like a rabbit hole that I will fall down at some point.
Nice. Yeah. It's really fun. Yeah. You could just send an email to a val. That's easy. Or you can very easily like here, we'll start with that one because it's really simple. If you zoom out and go up to the top, just click on email handler.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. So there it is. It's live. There's your email address in the top right corner. You can copy it, send it emails. You can, if you just do like console.log email and then send it an email, it'll, kind of show you what.
Okay, so I'm saving that.
This is like.
I'm gonna got my email client over here, so I'll send one of these. And let's see, subject line of testing, and one of those, and then we'll send it.
Cool. So while we wait for that, I guess you can get rid of this Copilot hallucination. Sorry about that. Oh, there it is. That was quick.
Really quick. Yeah, that's nice. So there's the email body. Got a subject. We've got plain text. This is great.
Yeah, and then so one thing that's really easy to make in Valtown is, let's say you wanted to let people contact you by email, but you don't want to give away your actual email address. You can give away this email address. Like boom, it's just created for you. You could change the name of it if you want. In the top, there's like a little edit button on the top left. There's a like little edit button for the name of the val. That's kind of.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, so you can give it a name, and then if you wanted to make it a really simple forwarder that just accepts emails and then sends an email to you, I'll show you how to do that. So this will involve me explaining the Valtown standard library. So we want to give you everything at your fingertips. So we have a number of hosted services that would normally you have to go sign up for, like SendGrid, get an API key, put down a credit card, blah blah blah. But instead, we give you a small but enough of those services for free, just bundled into your free Valtown account, and more for the Pro Valtown account. And so you could just send an email right now. So just type the @ symbol. The @ symbol is our like clever little way to trigger this autocomplete thing. And then just standard.email is the one we are looking for right now.
Oh, that didn't work.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. And then
it did do it. Okay, I understand.
And then you can put like, it's the argument is an object with, to, from, that kind of thing. It implicitly will email the owner of the Valtown account. So you don't have to you don't need an art. So
wait, what am I doing? I think I think the thingy is being weird on me because when I'm trying to autocomplete, it's
Yeah. Well, here, why don't we just turn it? Oh, yeah, it's being weird. We can turn that off because I think it's hurting more than helping us. If you go to your preferences, and if you scroll up to the top in the right, preferences, and then scroll down a little bit, and you can just turn off the AI thing and save. You just have to print, yeah.
Failed to update.
Oh, rough. Try again.
Let's see.
Oh boy, that's an annoying bug. Maybe refresh the page and try again. What's going on with that?
It's like going up to that page. There we go. Your bio is apparently required. Cool. Okay, so I got it. We're in here. This will hopefully stop helping. I do a 2, and we can send it.
2 is actually the one you could leave off because that it's implied that it'll go to you.
Oh, interesting. Okay, and then we could do something like subject
email.subject.
Subject. Oh, I have. This is okay. Here's what's happening. We have dual declarations here, so I need to rename this as incoming email.
Nice.
All right, that explains a lot about why this was fighting me so hard. I understand what's going on now. All right, and then in here, there we go. Now our autocomplete works. We can do one of these, and we can do incoming email dot from, and then we can do we'll just do the text. I think is fine. Dot text. Okay.
Nice.
So then, theoretically speaking, anything that I send should like relay through this val into my email. So I'm going to send an email from one of my other email addresses. Actually, I'm going to I'll send it from this one here. And let's see. Please fix the website. All right, so I'm going to send this, and we're still logging, so we should see the console log come through. And then I should also, theoretically, see this relay into my inbox. And once that shows up, I will, I'll put this back on the screen. Okay, so there's the new email. And it is...
Oh, yeah, I see. I forgot about this. You can't modify the from field because like we haven't verified that you own the from.
Oh, I got it. So did it fail then?
Yeah, so it just failed. There's an error down there that explains it. So yeah, just leave off the from field and then it'll work. You can or you could change the from field. If you undo that, you could change from to reply to. That's like it's not the same, but I don't know if you're familiar with email's reply to field. But
yeah. Okay. So I've got that.
So that's the best we can give you without,
I got you. All right. So I'm testing again, and that's the email. So we'll do one of these and get that sent. All right. It's off, so it should show up here momentarily. And I did send it, right? I did.
Sometimes if you like click out and click back in, we'll pull faster. If you click out of the tab and back into the tab.
I'm worried I sent it to the wrong. No, I sent it to the same place. Here it is. Okay. So
nice.
That went through. And then looking at look at this, y'all. Okay, so then I'll bring this across so everybody can see it relayed. So that's pretty dang cool that it did that quickly. and didn't require me to like go get a bunch of API keys and stuff that I would have normally needed to do. I am a big fan of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have in our standard library, we have email, fetch. So like if you want a proxied fetch, if you want like a randomized IP every time you fetch, we have a service that does that. And then we have two different storage options. We have a blob storage, and then we have SQLite storage as well. Like built in, no setup, no cost, just an @ symbol away.
Very cool. That is very cool. And also, hi, Ali and friends. I think we got a raid. What's up, y'all? So, all right. So we've got access to. If I just go in here and I do the standard, then I can see SQLite, fetch blob. Oh, Terso's built in. OpenAI is built in. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Terso. I'm realizing now we should prune this list. Terso has been renamed to just SQLite.
I got it. Okay.
And then, so I should remove that. And then OpenAI, which you just saw, that one is like launching tomorrow. But I made it public for this stream, so we could use it today.
Sneak peeks here on Learn with Jason. All right. That's great. So this is cool. Like I do like the idea of having like there's a standard library, and if you know to type the @ standard, you can basically see what's available to you right there. I mean, I love this is one of the things I love about. I assume this is all driven by TypeScript, so we get like autocomplete and magic.
Yeah, we're fans of TypeScript.
All right, so we've got a good like tiny preview here of one thing we can do. I love the idea of being able to sort of have almost a burner email is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like I like that. So what else can we do? How do we take this further?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll just kind of evoke a couple email handler ideas, and then we can move on.
Okay.
So in terms of one thing that's like you can build a bot with email like really easily. So like you could send an email to a Val, it could do arbitrary processing and then email you back. And so you could just have a conversation with your code without building it in the UI. That's kind of fun. You can like forward it, you could forward it like, I don't know, any email you get. Oh, so here's a fun one. Our hosting provider is Render, and they don't have webhooks for when certain things happen in their platform, but they do send us emails. So I built an auto forward email filter in Gmail that will auto forward those emails to some code, and then I can do whatever I want with it, which in this case is forward it to our team's Discord.
That's also interesting too, because it creates the idea that like any email can be a webhook.
Yes, you got it.
Which is kind of fun because like I love doing stuff with webhooks. It's nice to be able to update something whenever a thing happens, right? And so I'm thinking of silly things that you could do, like have a spam filter for like when you get a recruiter email, and just update a counter on a website somewhere. Like how many recruiter emails I got today, and just have that number tick, right?
Totally. Or send the whole email to, and I guess you can strip out any public stuff and you send the whole email over.
Yeah.
That would be a fun one. You could have ChatGPT be like, strip out any private information and then add it to a SQLite database.
Yeah, I think there's some really fun stuff that you could do with this. And it's also interesting too, because like I'm thinking about my own process for my company. For example, I do a ton of sales as part of my day-to-day, and a huge amount of that happens through email. And so if I'm not setting, like what I do right now is I snooze email so that they come back after a certain amount of time. And sometimes I forget to do that. And that means that I end up like panicking a week and a half later when I realize that I didn't send the follow-up for an email. If I had the ability to forward these emails to some kind of system that would set a timer for me and remind me to follow up with these clients, and kind of put them into a queue that's like, hey, these are the people that you need to follow up with today, as opposed to me having to look at like what boomerang back into my inbox today. That's a nice little quality of life thing. I could send myself a little message in my private Discord or Slack that says, "Here's who you're following up with today." Those are little things that feel like they're not. I'm not going to build a whole app for that, but if I know I can catch an email and just quickly add it to a list, and that list gets pulled every day, that's cool. That's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, that's so. I guess you're touching on two ideas that I want to highlight. So one is what I call end programmer programmability. So people may be familiar with the term end user programmer, where, and this is this like old timey dream that end users would be able to really program the apps that they use. And it's like a dream from like the 1960s. And we still haven't come anywhere close to it. But, and so Valtown is asking the question, what if we allowed programmers to be able to shape the apps that they use on a daily basis? And and this is an example of that. Instead of you relying on Gmail's snooze feature, you just whip up your own snooze feature or system in like a couple hours, and then you own it. You can make it exactly how customized you want it. Someone else can improve it. Say you'll pull requests or just copy it on their own thing. So Valtown is like GitHub in that you could fork stuff, but it's also like an app store, because the thing that you fork now runs. So it's like forked code, but also running code.
Yeah, and it is cool that you do things like autofill the to, for example.
Yes,
that's slick, because that means that for me, I don't have to edit this code even to run it. I can, anybody could fork this, and the name of it changes. So the email you send it to updates automatically, and it'll automatically send it to my email address, which is pretty dang cool. So like that sort of stuff, I think is, like you said, it just makes it easier for me to reimagine how I would interact with different parts of my workflow, because it's not like this huge task to set something up. It's more just like, well, okay, if I can get an email, I can do something with that email. And, knowing that I've got access to, as you said, email, ChatGPT, databases, like all of a sudden I can do some interesting stuff. And these all, you said on all of these, you're providing a small amount of free tier access to these services.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool for personal use. Like I can think of a lot of ways that like, I'm not going to go set up like custom ChatGPT keys every time I have a silly idea, but knowing that I can just like, all right, will this silly idea work? And then if it does work, then I can go build it out for real. Just whacked my light thing. I think that's the other thing too. Like one of the things I like about platforms like Valtown is the barrier to experimentation is virtually zero. And I love that, especially when you start getting into server-side stuff, because one of the things that always stops me when I have an idea that starts leaning too far into the back end is like, well, I don't want to have to go create like 6 rounds of credentials from the database service and the email service and the whatever service, and then get all their boilerplate about how to like set it up and connect them all. I just want to try the thing. And this, like being able to do it this way, all the credentials are handled, all of the boilerplate is handled. I just had to have the idea. And I think that really that's a major unlock. Even if this isn't what I ultimately ship to production, this is a great thinking tool.
Thank you. Yeah. One of my favorite users likes to talk about how Valtown lowers the activation energy to do a thing. We're not competing against your normal way of doing things. We're competing against you not even writing this code in the first place.
I think that's a really, really valid thing. I talk myself out of a lot of ideas because they'd be too hard to build.
Yeah. So let's come up with another idea and give it a go. I feel like an HTTP handler, so I think that you saw I did a little poll yesterday about like what folks wanted us to make, and folks seem excited about like a little full stack app with a little SQLite database, and then maybe a cron, maybe some GPT using our new yet to be released free included GPT thing. I think some combination of those primitives.
Yeah, just that little bit that you just said, all in like 40 minutes. Like I think you're kind of proving your value prop right there when you can say all those things in one sentence and know the time limit and say it with a straight face. So if we want to do it like this, so I've created an HTTP handler. What should I do first? Like, I think you have an idea in mind of what we want to build. So
Yeah.
what should I guess, what do you want to build?
Yeah. So a friend at a hack night had this project that I thought was really fun kind of idea. He called it a collaborative poem builder, where everyone writes a line of a poem. If you squint, it's really just a comment section of a website.
Sure.
But I think a collaborative poem builder is kind of fun. And if we want to throw GPT in and like have like a human write a line and then a GPT write a line, we could do that. So anyways, we'll start with that. It'll involve some front end and back end database, and then maybe GPT as well.
Let's do it.
All right. So like the first thing like the first decision point that you would want to make in a situation like this is what server framework and JSX frameworks would you want to use? And I'm happy to kind of give you the choice, but I'll also tell you what I've been using recently. I switch it around a lot. Like the amount of times I've switched my code from like a React app to a Preact app to a Hano JSX app, it's like kind of embarrassing. I can't figure out which one's my favorite. I keep switching. So I'll let you make the final decision. But I've personally been using Hano and Hano JSX recently.
Let's use those, and I'll say that for a couple reasons. The first one and most important one being, if I get stuck, I want something that you are 100% confident we can bail out of quickly. So let's use your current favorite to make sure that that's not the thing that slows us down.
All right, great. So if you, I would probably recommend starting from a template. We have a template right there, template thing, and then grab scroll down for Hano. There's like a Hano router example on the left. Yeah, we don't yet have a Hano example with JSX. Oh, sorry, you scrolled a little past it. It's the first one
here.
under web apps. Yeah.
Okay. And so then I'm just gonna get rid of this one because I want to use that name. So we're gonna call this Poem Builder.
Nice.
All right.
Cool.
And now Hano, I haven't actually used, but it looks pretty familiar. This is a very reminds me a lot of what a Express setup would be. Yeah,
pretty similar. Hano is a web standard lightweight alternative to Express. When I say web standard, it's built on top of the request response objects that are from the browser and ship in a lot of serverless runtimes like Cloudflare, Vercel. So Hano's great. I'm a fan. There's one line that's kind of annoying to write that I just want to send you in the chat for you to like copy and paste to be the first line. It's what tells our editor how you want your JSX to be turned into JavaScript. And so in this case, we want to use Hano JSX because it's all kind of built in. It's just easier.
Yeah, and this is what do they call this? The Pragma.
Yes, it's a TypeScript Pragma. We really, I feel like that's maybe the ugliest or most foreign-looking part of Valtown. Like you throw in a Pragma, and then you can do the JSX of your choice. Yeah, the downside is it's ugly. The upside is that you can use any JSX you want.
Mm-hmm. And yes, Valtown is running on Dino.
Yes, it is running on Dino.
And like a Pragma, this isn't the first time I've seen a Pragma. I'm trying to remember where I was using it before. Some other framework had the Pragmas if you wanted to swap out for like which thing you were using. If you wanted to use Solid for JSX or React or whatever. So it's actually, I mean, to be completely honest, like if this is the hard part, instead of having to like swap out your Webpack build or something, I'm kind of okay with that.
Nice. Great. So I don't think we'll need that second route, so you can get rid of the line 8/yeah. And then let's write some HTML instead of text. So instead of c.text, it'll be c.html. and then you just put any JSX in there, and then Command Enter.
Oh, nice. Okay. So I'm gonna do it. Let's just go with something like this for now. There we go. All right, easy
Great.
enough. I understand this.
Cool. So I guess the next thing, maybe wrap that in a div, and then make the second element of the div a form, and then inside the form put an input box.
Okay, so we're gonna
And
do
then,
a form, and inside the form we want what's the, or is it like add the next line of the poem is the input?
yeah.
Line of the poem. And then we're just gonna go with quick and dirty here. So we'll go text required, and I guess it needs
Maybe
a
give it a
name.
name.
So yeah, name of next line. Okay, so now we've got our next line of the poem.
Great.
Probably need a button,
So
right?
not for forms. Enter will work.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we can do it that way. All right.
I would set the method of the form to post, and then we'll make a post handler for the slash route.
Right, because we're not adding an action, so it's going to submit to itself, and that'll work in Valtown. It'll just submit to the same page.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick. Okay, so app.post, and that's going to be on the same route.
And then I guess I know you're going to run into this, so you can make both of these handler functions async because I'm like pretty sure we're going to need that.
And that's yelling at me because it was, oops, async. All right.
And then so like let form equals c.rec.form data. The type script should start helping you.
Yeah. There it is.
Oh, and you'll have to await that expression and also call it. It's a function. So this request object is it's the web standard request object, and this is the web standard form data object. So if you've ever used form data on the client, this is the same object.
Okay, so we'll be able to do a form.get data or get, and that'll be next line.
Boom.
Okay, and then we need to save
put
this
this on the
somewhere.
screen?
Yeah, we can just put it on the screen. Yeah, why not? Why don't we just put it on the screen? That seems like a good idea. We can, we'll just do an HTML. We'll put out the next line. Okay, so now we have the ability to, what did I do?
That looks fine. Maybe just try saving it again. Maybe the preview button did. Yeah. Preview is what you have to click. Save. Probably wouldn't do what you want.
Okay, I'm doing something wrong.
Let's see. Method equals post.
Do I have to return the?
Oh yeah. Hit return. Yeah. Good call. Good call. That. I hope that's the issue.
There it is. Yeah. I.
Nice.
Do you have to do that? Do you have to return in Express? I think I have bad habits from Express.
Yeah, exactly. You don't. You just do like
implicit return in here, which is okay. So the implicit return here broke my brain. Got it. All right, I'm with it. I'm with it now.
Great. So now back to where you were. Like now we need to store it somewhere. So every Valtown user gets a SQLite database. So let's make a table in the database you have, but maybe didn't know you had. Okay.
And I do that up here.
Yeah, go for it. At SQLite.
All right. One of these.
Yep, that one. .execute. Yeah. And then create table if not exists. Poem lines.
Oops. Table. Oh. If not exists. Poem lines.
And then Yeah, then left parentheses. So now here's where I wish we could bring in ChatGPT again. I'm realizing that we should probably have a way to like turn it off, but like on a keyboard shortcut trigger it. Because like most of the time you don't want like like an LLM completing your thoughts because it's just like noisy. But this is a good example when we want it. I think we could just do it ourselves. Just line. You could do ID.
Okay, so we'll do an ID, and that's going to be what is that, like int primary
integer
key?
Yeah.
Is that how primary
Instead of
key
int,
works?
it's integer, and it's
it's
primary
full on
space
integer.
key, and then primary space key, and then you could just say auto increment after that, space auto increment.
And auto increment is it like that?
No underbar.
And it's supposed to be all caps. I truly, I don't write very much SQL these days.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't, like SQL doesn't really care. It's just for consistency, I guess, right?
No space in between auto and increment.
Got it.
I have to look. I have to look this up every time. And then line, comma. You could call it line text.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do line, and then that's going to be text.
And that's it.
And that's kind of good, right? Do we need anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, yeah, let's roll then.
You could throw in a weight above. Like the first time it runs, you could throw that. You could run it, and then now, like once it runs the first time, if it doesn't throw an error, then table's been created, and you could just comment it out. Because that'll make things a little faster if it's not running.
Got it. Okay, so now that we've got it,
I don't know if it actually ran. Maybe comment it out, hit save and preview, and then save and then as long as that doesn't error,
seems like we're all good.
Seems like we're good. So then now you can comment it out, and then.
Okay.
And now back to where you were, you can add it back in. Yep.
Okay, so now we need SQLite. Is it just execute again? We'll do.
And then this time, instead of just a string, do an object, because we're going to send in parameters.
Right.
An object, right. And it'll have two properties. One is SQL colon, and then that's the string, and then the other property will be args colon, and then that'll be an array.
Okay. And that's going to be our next line. So we're going to insert into poem lines values, and is it a question mark as a placeholder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then for poem lines, you'll just need to put after the word poem lines, left parentheses, the word line, and then the right parenthesis.
Oh, that's right.
And you could just say on line 32, you could say as string to convince it that that's a string.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then maybe doing a wait on line 32. And then on line 37, do delete that, and then do delete that, and instead we'll do c, like I think it's c.redirect, like return c.redirect or something like that.
Okay.
And then just slash. We'll just redirect to the home screen. And then on the home screen, we should.
That is not the word I meant. There we go.
And on the home screen, we should do like a GET request kind of a thing. But maybe there's an alternative way. Yeah, that's fine. You can just do a GET request. You're halfway there.
Well, I mean, is there an alternative way that you think is better?
No, the alternative was like a debug view, like to just poke in your SQLite database, and just like see if it's there. But it seems like you'll just get it rendered on the screen, in the next 30 seconds anyways. So
okay, so let's do one of these, And actually, we don't need one of those this time. We just need select everything.
ID, comma, line. Yeah, sure. Great.
Yeah, ID. Yeah, why not? Why not be explicit? From poem lines.
Nice.
And we don't need any qualifiers, so we're just going to roll with that. And then I think I'm just going to dump this so that I know what it looks like, but I'm pretty sure I remember. Here's our poem. And if is it Command Enter, save and preview?
Yep. Yeah, it's already there.
So, and there's our rows. Okay, so then what we'll be able to do here is we'll a poem written by
someone in the
chat.
comments asked for a bigger font, so yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
Is this better? Can everybody see now?
That's good to me.
I'm going to roll with that. And so what we will do is we'll set up an unordered list. No, I'm not going to set up an unordered list. I'm going to set up a paragraph because it's fine. It's fine. And then in here, we're going to go over poem.rows.map. And for each line, or wait, hold on. We get back the ID and the line, so we're just going to destructure line out.
Nice. So it's an array, not an object. So just make it an array with like ID, comma, line.
Oh, it's an array. Okay, so we'll do one of those, and I'll just skip the ID. Oh no, we need the ID because we're doing React. So we'll do a span with a key of ID.
You know what?
Does Hano yell if you don't do this?
You know, I'm realizing no, because it's all server rendering. So there's no virtual DOM diffing. Like, it doesn't care at the end of the day. You know, I didn't realize that till just now. Like, I've been always supplying the key because I'm just so React pilled. But this is all server rendered, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, so this should be fine. I got something wrong. Poems row, whatever. What are you mad about? Identifier. Oh, it's JSX.
Yeah.
There it is.
Good catch.
Okay. All right. So this then should spit out our poem, and I should be able to get rid of this then. And
yeah, let's add some lines.
Let's add some lines. So we'll say roses are red.
Boom. That's exciting.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, maybe we should share the link so we can, dangerously allow strangers on the internet.
Oh my goodness. Okay, chat. You know how this works. If you do anything that I can't show on screen, nobody gets to have any fun. So behave. And this isn't going to update in real time, right? So I'll need to refresh to see lines.
Yeah, exactly. So one idea that I had was we could build a spam filter using ChatGPT that would, before adding it to the database, we send it to ChatGPT and say, is this spam? Do you think it's spam? And then if it isn't, then don't add it, or you can add it with like another column for like spam is true. Yeah, or maybe everybody's nice and we don't have to do that.
I want to try that though, because I want to see how that would work in practice. And my AI experience is honestly very limited.
All right, let's do it.
So if one wants to do that, I remember I saw it in here, so I'll start looking for OpenAI. I'm going to go with the standard OpenAI. Where is it? There.
Nice.
Okay.
So if you scroll up to the top, the OpenAI function has like a good snippet that you should probably copy. If you hover over it or command click it, it should open up that val. Maybe you have to hover over the URL part. If you let's see,
It like keeps
Uh,
it keeps almost doing it.
yeah. The URL is val.town/v/std/openai.
Slash
Oh,
v
actually, no.
slash.
Actually, sorry. Sorry. Hit escape. Hit Command K. Like you doing that reminded me. We have a Command K bar. We have search. So Command K, and then just type OpenAI, and then scroll down, and yeah, there it is. Cool. So yeah, copy everything but the import here, and then go back to where we were.
Okay. And then I want this to be in here, right?
Yeah. I think it might make more sense to create like an isSpam function, or like that's a little separate.
That makes sense. Yeah, I like that. Let's do that. So we'll create a function up here called isSpam. And that's going to take our input. And okay, so inside here, we've got our OpenAI. Messages, role, user, content, and we're going to say something like, I feel like you had already figured this out, so I'm going to let you tell me what to say.
So for here, the content of the user in this case will be the line input. So you can just delete whatever's here and then copy this whole line and put a line above it. Yep, and we're gonna have a role of system. This is like us telling the GPT that like you are a spam detector. Let's see. Determine if the following is spam or not safe for work. And then I say, reply only with spam in quotes or safe.
Okay.
And then if you go back to the beginning of this line, max tokens, we could just say 2 because we only want one word, but sometimes a word is 2 tokens, which is hilarious. So coincidentally, the word safe is 1 token, but the word spam is 2 tokens.
Okay.
I learned that one the hard way. Why is it just sending me back SPA?
And then, so the function expression, choices, 0, message content. So that's what's actually coming back. So I want to return this.
Yeah.
And then down here,
Oh,
I would want.
Did you make an async function? I just want to. Weird that it's not complaining, but yeah, it should be async.
Something is complaining. Why are you mad?
Yeah. Maybe need to refresh the page. Our TypeScript IntelliSense thing is a work in progress.
Okay, we're in good shape here. All right, so now we've got our isSpam, and then down here, I can say, let's see, is safe equals await is spam next line.
I think maybe just for like a debugging purpose, don't do the equals. Like let's just deal with the thing it gives us.
Okay.
Just to make sure, yeah, because like sometimes ChatGPT will go off the rails, and it's a little bit. I think the first thing I would recommend trying is adding another column to the database and storing whatever ChatGPT gives us in the database, and then just putting it on the screen.
Oh, am I gonna have to write an alter table?
No. Instead, uncomment that and then call it create table does not exist poem lines 2, and we'll just start with a brand new table.
Okay. And then we can just call it safe.
Great.
Okay. And then that means down here I need to change these to be poem lines 2 and poem lines 2. And then we also need the safe. Which I guess we should just call this safe then. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
and then get it on the get request, and then put it on the screen.
Right. Yes. Safe. Okay.
I guess
So
one
that-
issue with this is, yeah. So yeah,
Right,
that should
so-
work.
I feel like there
and
was
then-
a way. I think this will get flagged by.
Another one is just asking.
No.
Ooh,
What did I do? Okay. All right. I got bugs.
Let's go to a logs. I don't know if we played with the logs too much. Yeah.
Let's see. Here's my
All right.
500, and it says safe is not defined. Oh no.
On line 47.
On line 47. Oh right, because I didn't destructure it out.
And then one thing I would ask is at the top of the file, just comment out the making the table. That'll speed everything up if we don't make the table every time. Or we don't try to make the table every time.
Okay. All right, let's get back into.
There we go.
Hey, look at that. Oh, Poopy Head was fine. Okay, well, whatever.
but it got the script tag. It knows that the script tag is spam. That's good.
It did. So that's good. And so then we can say we can actually update this to say where safe equals safe. And theoretically that'll drop. How? What?
Did you do Command Enter?
I thought I did. Oh, am I?
That looks like it should work.
Select ID where safe equals safe.
Oh, I guess one thing that
Is it
I'm
single
curious
quotes?
about is, yeah, single quotes. But I don't know why it wouldn't just give you an error. Like, it's weird
That does seem like it should just explode, but now it works.
Yeah.
Marquee is safe. That's funny. That's really funny. Okay. Well, so I mean, this is pretty cool though. Like I like that it's doing what we want, and then we would be able to drop this part out now that we're not displaying any of those anymore.
Yeah, but you still have them in the
get-
database, so you as an admin can go see them. Let me show you this fun SQLite admin table thing. So this kind of gets to the point of like other users in Valtime can make code that basically apps that you can install in your own account that'll run with your SQLite database. And yeah, you can customize them. So hit Command K and type SQLite, or type, I think Explorer is like the unique word, is what someone, so Explorer, yeah, that's the one. So Nico is one of our favorite users. He builds a lot of really cool things. And this is the app that we're going to install into your account, and then it'll let you explore your SQLite tables. So, so you can hit that button there, install version 66, nice. And then hit fork on the, yeah, that one. And here we are. This is your app. So this is kind of funny. Like vals are by default, like, so this is a URL. So this app is a website hosted on your Valtime account.
Right.
But we needed to password protect it because it like has all your SQLite data. And so the scheme we've come up with for now is that we've like wrapped it in a password protection middleware. And so your password in this case is your API token, your Valtime API token. That's the like simple scheme. So only you can access this admin panel.
Got it. Okay. So if I go to my API tokens, I'll be able
hit
to
the copy button.
Copy. And then if I go back, it's hidden. Okay. Cool.
And then, yeah. And then run. Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty slick. I'm worried about scrolling down in case anybody was trying to test that spam. But this is great. I mean, this is actually wonderful. So I'm able to do something like I could, insert into, so I can run any old SQL in here, which I'm not going to bother writing a whole SQL command, but like that's pretty slick that you can do that. Or if I just want to select like ID and safe from poem lines 2, I can skip the line itself.
Yes.
And then we can see like, not a lot of spam coming through, which is great. So yeah, like this is a cool, like, I love little tools like this. I think there's such a game changer, especially when you spend so much time. That's amazing that it caught that. It's like the Nigerian prince thing. Oh, wow. That's better than I expected it to be, because that's like, it doesn't, yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So then what? Then what happens? We've got an Explorer. This is extremely cool. We've got, so if I go back to my home.
I think that's just a temporary, I think if you refresh the page, that'll go away. But anyways, yeah, so this is the app that we were working on, the Poem Builder. I think it's a pretty good, little demo of stuff. Like, obviously you can make it prettier in a bunch of different ways. We could just throw on a classless CSS just to make it like prettier without any effort. Are you familiar with classless CSS frameworks?
Classless, no.
The classless CSS frameworks are CSS frameworks that style like HTML elements, like all the 8 links and whatever. Like, you don't have to add classes for it to work.
Okay, I got you.
You can just like throw it into a project.
Okay,
so you can do that. Here, let me get one class. Yeah, I think if you do Command K and then type classless, it'll pull up like this helper function that I made for classless CSS.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if classless CSS is that interesting. But potentially, I think maybe the next thing we could do is a cron, like so like a different type of val that runs on a schedule.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? And then that would be a way we could. Let's see. We could clear our poem every minute or so that you kind of get a fresh start every minute. That seems like a pretty simple one, I think.
It's super simple. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that one will be done with that in 3 minutes.
Which is good, because we got about 15 left. So I'm going to hit a scheduled function here, and we'll call this one Poem Killer.
Great. So yeah, nice. Yes, this is a Dino project. Someone asked in the comments.
Minimum is 15.
So yeah, if you pay us, you can do faster. But on the free front end, 15 is what you get. So you type the @ symbol, get yourself your SQLite, and then SQLite.execute, delete from poem lines. I guess for this one, I personally feel like it'd be more interesting to like leave up to like keep the data for historical purposes, and then in your renderer you store like timestamps and you filter that way. But whatever, for the purposes of this demo.
I mean, if you had a different idea for what we could do with the cron, I'm also down to do that.
Well, totally up to you. If you're like not precious about the data, then that's fine. Another idea with the cron is that you could send yourself what the current status of the poem is every morning by email. That's like a.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Let's do that.
That's another one. So now we could just use to get the data exactly.
So we'll get everything from poem lines 2.
Great.
Where safe equals safe, because I don't want whatever the terrible stuff is. And so we'll get const poem equals await All right. So then I need to email myself,
Yep.
and it's already going to me, so I can set a subject of current status of the poem, and then text. Does text respect line breaks?
Yes, I think so.
So if I just did like poem rows
Yeah.
dot let's see, then let's do this line.
Yeah, nice.
And then we'll do poem rows dot map.
Join. I think just join. New line.
Isn't that?
Oh,
and then, okay,
yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
No, you're
Because
right.
rows is an array. It's going to be an array of arrays. So
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I would
You're
need
right.
like
To map out together.
Yeah, so we'll map.
And then,
We'll get the line. We'll return the line. And then we'll join all of that with a line break. And that should, I think. Oh, right. This needs to be wrapped in. Ah, damn it. One of those. There we go. Okay, so that theoretically every day will send me the current status of the poem.
yep. Maybe just throw in a
Or
wait
every
on the
15 minutes, I
email.
guess.
Yeah. Maybe change it to a cron expression that we'll send it to every morning, or you could just make it if you go back and change it, instead of from every 15 minutes, you could change it to every 1 day.
So it ran 3 minutes ago. Next run 23 hours, and I can say run now. And then if I go look at my email out here, I have current status of the poem.
Nice.
That's pretty slick that you can do that kind of stuff. Like this is very fun. And I really do like the just the quickness that you can set these things up. It feels very, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of possibilities that I would have written off as like, I don't have time. Like, there's that XKCD about automation, right? Where you like think you're going to do a little bit and then it's going to save you a bunch of time, but then you spend all of your time doing automation. This feels like, for certain things, like especially something like this feels like the sort of thing where it really does save me time, because this took me 10 lines of code and I get some update of like what's happening in a database. I didn't have to write a dashboard. I didn't have to get into like figure any of that out. I'm not managing credentials. It all just works.
Totally.
It's good stuff.
Thank you. I was thinking we could go through some of the comments and answer some questions folks have, or build in the direction people have. I guess we don't have that much time.
Yeah, I mean, we got about 10 minutes, so that is a great idea. So chat, if you've got questions, please hit us up. So we've talked about this a bit, but Val is built on top of Dino, which is why we've got like the URL imports.
Yep.
Vinny wants to know, you got a dark mode?
We do.
I think
this really great. Yeah, so we're built on we use Tailwind for styling, and there's this really cool library, I forget its name, that automatically or almost automatically converts your Tailwind to dark. So things work pretty well.
There it is. Okay, we got excitement from the for the dark mode.
We have Emacs and Vim key bindings for those who partake.
Okay. No, you can't have my API keys. Can you pull in libraries Valtown doesn't include?
Yeah. Everything in NPM that's Dino compatible, which is 90% of NPM works, or just any URL with JavaScript works. So and we convert when you import from a val, like another val. You can import from another user's val or Valtown's their library val. We convert that like @ symbol import thing to a URL So yeah, maybe just go, just copy and paste on line 2, just or any of the lines that have an import. Just copy that URL into the URL bar so people can see. It's really fun. Like the future of JavaScript is these web standard imports.
What happened just now?
It may have. I think you may have command clicked it and it like redirected.
I did command click.
We've designed
Okay.
it to like if you command click it, it'll redirect you to the val, which is nice. But in this case, I want to show you what's behind the val when you do an import. So maybe go back and then like copy and paste it into the URL bar so people can see what like HTTP style imports are really simple. Yeah, just pop that open into a tab. So any code that you can just get hosted on a website, you can import to Valtown and run in Valtown, any JavaScript code.
So you can run this off like a GitHub gist or something.
Exactly. You can run GitHub gist in Valtown, and then also you can import code from Valtown on the client side too. So you can write your React component and then have the React component render on the server, and then you can import it on the client and then do client hydration, server render, client hydration, best of both worlds. It's kind of like Next.js, but without any bundler, custom syntax. You could
very cool. Also, chat got their wish, and I did absolutely show an API key just now, so I'm going to recycle that while I'm. Where was it?
Which
API
one?
keys. When I was trying to copy
you
paste.
pasted by accident.
Yeah. So how about that, chat? No API tokens for you. No, that's great though. That's really fun. So a question about cold start times.
Yeah. So the short answer is Valtown is the fastest in the world at deploying your code, but we're not the fastest at running your code because there are trade-offs, and we chose iteration speed over deployment speed. So when you're using Valtown, the product, it's as fast as deploys can possibly be. It's like 100 milliseconds to deploy. But Valtown does have some cold start times. There are nuances to when and why that I can get into in a second. And then just in general will be like 100 milliseconds or so slower than Dino or AWS Lambda or whatever, because we're doing our own thing. We're a small startup and we just haven't had the time to like dial that in yet.
Okay, cool. And I think the follow-up question there is like, what are we expecting in terms of like delays? Like, because I feel like I hear people talk about cold start times, and I know that there's to me, I've never actually seen this, but like people will talk about like, oh yeah, you can get like a 10-second cold start time on AWS Lambda. I've never seen 10 seconds. Like what are you seeing in terms of cold starts?
Yeah. If you're just evaluating a val with no dependencies, there's no cold start. Our servers are hot, ready to go. They'll be running your code. If your code has a lot of dependencies and it hasn't been running a long time, the cold start will take as much time as it takes for us to download all those dependencies.
Got it. So, and that depends on like where those dependencies are hosted, because if the dependencies have cold starts, like for example, if you were doing something, I don't know why anybody would do this, but I've definitely done things like this myself, where you are serving code from, say, a serverless function that returns the code as text because for some reason you thought it would be clever to proxy that sort of thing. And then that has a cold start time. So you can you can cause yourself a lot of cascading problems.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, this is pretty awesome. So we're coming up on the end here. So let's spend if we get any other questions, we'll answer those. But if not, where should somebody go if they want to learn more?
Val.town is the URL, and sign up and play around is like the main recommended way to learn more. Yeah, so if you log out, go incognito window. That'll show people what it looks like.
Gotcha.
You can log in with GitHub or email and password. Our docs are pretty good. We have a very active and friendly Discord community. We like to shock people with how fast and responsive we are on Discord and Twitter. Like we'll reply within minutes or hours, and if you ask for a bug that's easy to fix, we'll fix it in minutes or hours. we pay attention to feature requests very carefully. So we're easy to get in touch with.
Got it. Got it. All right. So let me throw a couple of these up on the screen. So this is the website, val.town. Discord, just go to the bottom because it's one of those like hard to pronounce sorts of things. But then there's also the website here of /val.town, spelled out the dot. Steve, this is fun. This is cool stuff. Like I said, I think I started this out by saying that I've always struggled with these sorts of things because it's hard to see how they fit into my workflow. And actually going through this today, I can see a lot of ways that this would fit into my workflow. So consider me a believer.
Love it. Thank you. This has been so fun.
Let me throw one more link over toward you where if you want to go follow Steve, harass him, ask him how long it's been since that photo was taken because his hair looks a lot longer. And then let me do one more shout out to our sponsors. So this episode, like every episode, has been live captioned. We've had Diane with us all day. Let me get that link back up on the stream there. And that's made possible through the support of our sponsors, NX and Netlify. And someday I'm going to update my website to, I love Vetsu Code, but they're not sponsoring anymore. So go check out NX, go check out Netlify, give them some love, tell them I sent you. Steve, any parting words for the chat before we call this one done?
Thanks. I just want to say thanks for spending time with us. This has been really fun.
I appreciate you taking the time. This has been an absolute blast. Chat, make sure that you are checking things out on the site. So next week, I am in London. If you are in London, I'm going to be at CityJS. Come stop by, say hi. I'll be there all week. So if you're in the area, definitely hit me up. Otherwise, we will be back the following week with an episode. We're going to have Sunil Pai on the show. April 18th is not the week after. There's another episode that I need to get up here. I'm going to update this schedule, I promise. So, there's more coming, but we are having Sunil Pai back on. We're going to talk about adding state serverless applications. We're going to learn about the new next runtime on Netlify. We're going to learn about the Astra DB on DataStax. We're going to learn all sorts of things. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled, get on the newsletter, join the Discord. If you enjoy this content, make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things. You can join for a few bucks. I reinvest that directly into the content. And with that, we're going to call this one done. So thank you all very much. Steve, thank you again for spending some time with us today. And we will see you all